Mississippi Sawyer, level 1. We're in the key of D major, so we have F sharp and C sharp. So go back and review your D scale and arpeggio. There are going to be a lot of arpeggios in this tune. And we're in 2/4 time, so 1 and 2 and 1 and 2 and. The form is AABB, so we have 8 measure A section, we repeat that, and 8 measure B section, we repeat that. Okay, so it's a square tune. It's a great tune for dancing. It's one of the most beloved fiddle tunes in the United States. One of my favorites. Okay, by the way, here's a fun little fact. Mississippi Sawyer is what on the river you call a snag. If you have a big storm and it washes a tree out into the river, a big tree will be out in a big river like the Mississippi or the Tennessee, and it'll get waterlogged and it'll invert, and the branches will be down here, and the trunk and the root bulb and everything will be up just under the surface of the water, and so it'll get caught eventually on the riverbed on stuff, and it'll be anchored on the riverbed, and the top will be moving back and forth, sometimes just underneath the surface of the water, so they can smack a boat hole and knock a hole in it. So that's called the Mississippi Sawyer. Okay, so getting back to the tune, we have no pickup notes in the level 1 version here. So we're going to start with, this is primarily 8th notes, just a few exceptions here, but it's an 8th note feel. 1 and 2 and 1 and 2 and. So we're going to start with 3 A's here with the 3rd finger. 1 and 2 and. Then down to an F sharp with the 1st finger. Then back to A, B. Make sure that B is up there on the 7th fret if we had frets. Then A, F sharp, then 3 G's. Open E, then G, A, G, E, 3 F sharps with the 1st finger. Open E, then we have a D arpeggio. Here we go, D, F sharp, A. Okay, so that A is a quarter note, so it's 1 and 2 and. Then we play an A7 arpeggio, which has A, C sharp, E, and G natural. So we start with a G, E, C sharp, A, and then end with a D half note. So keep in mind something that can be a little tricky. That G natural right there is on the 3rd fret, if we had frets. And the C sharp is on the 4th fret. So it's easy to get lazy because you're having to move your 2nd finger from the G to the C sharp to play the G too high or the C sharp too low. So make sure you're way back there on the G and way up there on the C sharp. Okay, so I'll put that first part together here. 1 and 2 and 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 1 and 2 and. Okay, that's the first part. So the B section, once again, no pickup notes. We're going to just come right in on the downbeat of measure 9 here. So we go D, F sharp, D, F sharp, D, F sharp, A. So 2 and. Now, to show you the notes, I might pick my fingers up. In real life, you just want to hold those down. You go D, F sharp, D, F sharp, D, F sharp. So you don't want to move your ring finger until you're ready to move over and grab that A. So 1 and 2 and 1 and 2 and. Now we're going to play an A arpeggio. We're going to go A, C sharp, E, then go back down to C sharp, then A, C sharp, E. So A, C sharp, E, C sharp, A, C sharp, E. Okay, then the next two measures 5 and 6, are going to be the same as 1 and 2 of the B section. 2 and D, F sharp, D, F sharp, D, F sharp, A. Then the last two measures of the B section are the same as the last two measures of the A sections. It goes G, E, C sharp, A, then a D half note. So putting that second section together, B section, 2 and 1 and 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 2 and. Okay, there you go. Let's play that now with a metronome at 60 beats per minute. Okay. 1 and 2 and 1 and 2 and. Let me start over again. Okay, so there you go, Mississippi Sawyer, level 1.